Page 326, Chapter 21. Two Blind Persons. And when they set out on their way to Jericho, many people followed him. And behold, two blind persons sat by the wayside. And when they heard Emmanuel going by, they cried out, saying, quote, O Lord, you Son of a celestial Son, have mercy on us. But the people threatened them to be quiet. But they screamed even louder, saying, quote, O Lord, you Son of God, have mercy on us. And Emmanuel stood still, and called out to them, saying, quote, I know that I am not a son of your false god, but tell me, what do you want me to do for you? They said to him, quote, Lord, open our eyes, so we can glimpse the splendor of the world. And he had pity on them, and said, quote, Whose power do you suppose is it that is supposed to make you see? They however replied, quote, The power of our God, which is in his might, so touch our eyes, and then we will see. And Emmanuel was astonished and said, quote, Truly, you are in the belief of your God, and until now such belief is found among this people everywhere. Therefore it should happen to you as you believe. Then may your God help you, and may you see. And he touched their eyes, but they did not see, because their belief was not truthful enough, and was at all times wrong. So Emmanuel and his like-minded companions went further along their way, and he taught everyone in open words, saying, quote, Truly, truly, I say to you, if you do not know according to true knowledge, or do not have complete certainty, just as the two who are in a weak belief do not, then what you want will not succeed for you. But if you know in true knowledge, or if you have certainty, and you understand, and you are given to the wisdom, then everything will be for you in such a wise as you want it. And if you practice true love and knowledge in truth, and do not doubt, not only will you do good things, but if you say to a fig tree that it should dry up, then it will dry up. Or if you would say to a mountain that it is to lift itself up and throw itself into the sea, then it will come to pass. If you know in truth and wisdom, your spirit or consciousness will be mighty. And if you know and live in the truth of the wisdom of the reality, or the certainty, then your spirit or consciousness is filled with unending power. Then everything that you yourself command, or that you wish for, in edification or in a prayer form, from you yourself, you will receive, if you trust in it, in the reality, or in certainty. Do not suppose, however, that a prayer is necessary, because you will also receive without prayer if your spirit or consciousness is taught or trained through the knowledge and the wisdom and the reality, or certainty. Do not confuse yourself, and do not heed the falsified teaching that the human being follows a will that is given by a God, because this belief is based in confusion. Know this: whatever the human being may wish to accomplish, he or she must always first create a will for this or that, because this is the law of the nature. Thus the human being determines the entire course of his or her life and all things, which is known as unavoidability, or destiny. Thus it is given that one acquires knowledge and grasps or learns the truth in order to create from it a will that follows the laws of the creation. Consider yourselves as human beings who live to grasp or to learn, so that the spirit, or the consciousness, may become nearly fulfilled, or relatively perfect. You were born for the sake of the duty of coming close to the fulfillment, or of reaching relatively, absolutely full development in the spirit, or consciousness. Do not concern yourselves, therefore, with the time that is coming, when the confused teaching will be spread that the human being must once again nearly fulfill, or relatively perfect, him or herself in the spirit, in the human being, or part piece of creation spirit, because he or she has fallen away from the creation. Beware of this confused teaching, because it holds great falseness with itself down to the final dot on the I. Truly, truly I say to you, the human being was never sufficiently fulfilled, or absolutely fully developed, in the spirit, or creation-given spirit. And thus the human being has also never fallen away from the creation, for the human being became connected with the creation in the spirit in the human being, or creation-given spirit or spirit form. And the human being cannot be without the spirit, or cannot live, cannot exist without the part piece of creation spirit. The spirit of the human being, or the consciousness, however, is created specifically for the task that the human being becomes nearly or relatively fulfilled or nearly perfect in his or her spirit or consciousness, and increases in the wisdom. This is so that also the spirit in the human being, or part piece of creation spirit, may learn, so that it will one day become one with the creation as determined by its laws, by which the creation itself expands, or grows, and thus nearly fulfills, or relatively perfects, itself within itself. And as the spirit in the human being, or part piece of creation spirit, is a oneness, so is the creation a oneness within itself, and no other powers exist besides it. Within itself, the creation is pure spirit, or spirit energy, and therefore unending power, because it is one within itself, and nothing that would be equal to it exists outside of it. Therefore, beware of every confused and falsified teaching in the time to come, or future, which will insult me as the son of a god. As the son of a god, I am a human being, so not a conceived god that would be equal to the creation. Therefore, I am also not a son of an unsubstantial or imaginary god. From these confused teachings, lies will be spun, or created, very soon, and even in my time, or in my lifetime, by some of you, who are my disciples and disciplesses. And because of them, the world will suffer much hardship and misery and death, because you misunderstand and incorrectly grasp or learn. Hence, baleful cultic dissonance or discord, and war and much zeal or fanaticism, and hatred will result from it, and will demand much human blood. Therefore, even now, you must direct your confused and wrong thoughts solely towards the truth and the teaching, as I brought it to you, so that you may be mindful of it, or may thoroughly think about it. That even now you may avoid much evil and sorrow, in that you do not incorrectly grasp or learn, and do not misunderstand my teaching. Make sure, therefore, that you do not make yourselves guilty for the confused teachings of the time to come, or future, as others will, who will try to make the Spirit and a God and me into a one-to-one, and will make therefrom a threefoldness, or threeness, Trinity, which in turn will be claimed to be a oneness. Beware that you yourselves do not carry forth or spread false and confused teachings, and also beware in your new lives as new selves, or personalities, so that you do not follow the resulting confused and falsified teachings of the time to come or future, because a threeness is impossible according to the true or logical laws of the creation. Truly I say to you, every prince suppresses his people, and the mighty use evil violence, or Gewalt, against the human beings. But just as violence, or Gewalt, is used by them, so also will every new cult, or religion, sect, use evil violence, or Gewalt, because every cult will zealously or fanatically falsify and disseminate my teaching, and, because of avarice, will demand the blood of the human beings and their goods and chattels. So beware of them, and do not, on account of force and violence, or Gewalt, bear the yoke of the confused teachings, due to which much terribleness and spilling of blood will come over the world. Have or keep yourselves free from this, and know only about the truth out of the truthfulness, or actuality, reality. It should be so with you. For you should be great, so that you grasp or learn the truth and carry forth the true, quote, teaching of the prophets. Just as I have come to teach the truth and the knowledge among the people, so also should you continue to teach the truth and the knowledge, in order that the truth will, nevertheless, one day get through, and every human being will become knowing and peaceful, so that true love and consonance or harmony will arise among them. Therefore, unpeace and hatred, jealousy, unfreedom, and war, and also cults and their zealousness or fanaticism, will be no more.